Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today I'll show you guys how I like to make my breakfast burrito meal prep. This recipe will work with really any ground meat or ground sausage you prefer. These burritos are low in calories, very nutritious, and extremely delicious. Super easy to make, so let's jump right into the recipe. If you find this video useful, please like, subscribe, and comment. It'll help me out tremendously as this is a brand new channel. Thanks. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is get all of our meat into a mixing bowl where we will add our ingredients and mix it all together. First, we're going to add a tablespoon of paprika, a tablespoon of brown sugar, a teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of oregano, and a tablespoon of oil. I used avocado oil for this. And then just add in a little bit of salt. Next, we're going to be mixing up the meat and all the seasonings that we just added, so go ahead and wash your hands. And while we're at it, we may as well just wash the vegetables as well. Now let's go ahead and get our hands dirty and start mixing up this meat. Mix the meat until all of the seasonings and spices are very well mixed throughout your entire bowl. Now we're going to get our pan, medium to high heat, add some oil, and start adding in our meat. Should again be adding about a pound of meat in this recipe, and you're just going to want to brown this. Depending on your meat, obviously will determine the cook time, so be sure to read the food safety instructions. Keep chopping it up every once in a while as it continues to cook because you're going to want this broken up so it gets distributed in all of your burritos efficiently. And as that meat is browning in that pan, we're going to go ahead and start cutting up our vegetables. Please don't harass me too much about my knife skills. I'm also working with a dull knife, but all excuses aside, I just need to work on my knife skills. But do whatever you have to do to dice these up. Get them as fine as you would like them. I'm going to do the peppers a little bit bigger, and then I'll dice the onion up a little finer because I like the crunch of peppers more than I like onions. Now that the meat's done browning, go ahead and set that aside for later. And while you're at it, go ahead and set this in the fridge. This will make sense later, but basically it needs to cool down before we can wrap it in the burritos. And then go ahead, add some more oil to the pan, use a different pan if you'd like, add some salt, some veggies, and let those get to browning down as well. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and crack our eggs into a bowl. I'm doing 7 eggs for this recipe, and then I'm going to add just a dash of milk and mix it all together, scramble it up really nice. Now that our veggies are done, we're going to set those aside into another bowl. If you'd like, you could put these in the fridge as well to get these cooling before we wrap. Get your eggs in that pan and start raking your spatula across the bottom. This will help them cook more evenly. And then once they're close to being finished, you can go ahead and add some salt to taste. Add a little bit of pepper as well. Go ahead, keep cooking it a little longer. Once these eggs are done, gonna go ahead and set these into the same bowl with our vegetables. And then we're gonna go ahead and start cooking our hash browns. In all honesty, I normally cook these hash browns in the same pan as the vegetables, and I add them in as the onions are starting to seem translucent. However, I totally forgot this time, but it doesn't necessarily matter the order. We're not in any big rush here. Cook your breakfast potatoes or frozen shredded hash browns to your package's suggestion, and then go ahead and add that in with the meat, add the veggies, add the eggs, all into as big of a mixing bowl as you can find, and then start stirring it all up, get it mixed in really well. And then we're going to go ahead and add a cup of shredded yellow cheese, and then mix it one more time to get that cheese melted and distributed all throughout our mix. We're getting to the final step now, so all we're going to do is get our aluminum foil, get a nice size sheet, big enough to wrap this up tightly. Get your tortilla on there and then add as much filling as you'd like. For me, this recipe ended up yielding 13 9-inch tortilla wraps. However, I had to taste test 2 immediately, so I got 11 in the freezer, and all 11 are definitely going to be perfect. This is so delicious, and this is so easy to make. Now with mine, because I was able to get 13 burritos, this means that each burrito is 296 calories, 18 grams of protein, 28 grams of carbohydrates, and 9 grams of fat. That makes this meal perfect. And if you're trying to gain weight or bulk for more muscle, you can have 2 or 3 burritos. If you're trying to lose weight and stay at a caloric deficit, then you would have just 1 in the morning, and it's absolutely perfect. To reheat these, I recommend wrapping them in a damp paper towel, and depending on your microwave, you'll end up having to microwave it for anywhere to 60 to 90 seconds, and then it comes out perfect and steaming. Thank you guys again so much for watching this recipe. As I said, this is a new channel, so if you like, subscribe, and comment any questions you have about this recipe, it helps out my channel tremendously, and I really enjoy the feedback.